Now, if you read the title, I know you sitting there like, some of y'all are like, yeah, yeah, that's the truth. And some of y'all are like, oh, how can Queen say that? Listen, I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I'm not saying this because I or any of the other Aquarius think that we're the smartest people in the world. We're not all rocket scientists, you know. But I'm saying this because a lot of Aquarius tell me this, and a lot of other signs complain about Aquarius behavior in this area. So today I'm going to be honest with you, and we're going to have a real talk, okay? It's not going to be pretty. It's not. But I'm going to be honest with you because people keep asking me this question, and I keep dancing around it. Because I don't just want to come out and say Aquarius don't like dummies. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to sound like, oh, we know we're so smart, you know. Because people say that to me all the time. Aquarius think they know everything, and I'm like, we kind of do sometimes. Sometimes we do know everything, not everything. A lot of different things about different things, and sometimes we don't. You know, Aquarius aren't the smartest people in the world. We are one of the smartest signs. Aquarius and Scorpio, according to Google, are two of the most intelligent signs in the zodiac. So we do have a tendency to get this reputation for being insufferable know-it-alls, as Professor Snape would say. And I'm just like, okay. So we're going to talk about that, all right? Let me do the introduction, and I'm going to tell you what was said to me. I am Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everybody that you know. Everybody that you know that might like this conversation, please pass on this video. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you would like to get a reading done, if you would like to send me a gift from my Amazon wish list, if you would like to send a donation to the channel, if you would like to join us on Patreon, because we're starting a new season of Patreon with all new material, please check out underneath this video because I have so much information there. If you want to check out Ask an Aquarius merchandise or ArchAngel Michael merchandise, all that is underneath this video, okay? All right, so let's get into it. All right, first of all, the Aquarius tell me. They tell me this all the time. They tell me in the comment section. You can read it yourself. They tell me when they talk to me in person. They tell me on the phone. They tell me all the time that they dislike people who don't use logic. Now, Aquarius is a pretty decent blend of logic and emotion, okay? Because, you know, we're ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Those are our co-planets. Saturn is really serious and about his business, and Uranus is more unpredictable and kind of the wild child of the planetary bodies. Okay, so when you're ruled by them, you get a little bit of a mix of that. You get Aquarius being kind of serious sometimes and very logical sometimes, and sometimes wild and unpredictable and just out of nowhere doing things. You know. But the one thing about most Aquarius, not all, is that most of us believe in using logic. I use a lot of spiritual things, spiritual methods, but I use them from a logical standpoint. For example, if somebody comes to me and tells me that they think that they're cursed by a spell or a hex or something like that, I don't automatically jump the gun like, you know what I mean? I first logically take my tarot cards and start to dig into this person and see what is there, to see, are they really going through something? Is it schizophrenia? You know, from a logical standpoint, I know it could be a number of things. They really could have a hex on them. But it also could be mental health. It could be somebody that lied to them or tried to scare them. It could be a lot of different things. And from an intellectual, logical standpoint, I know to look for these things and not to automatically jump to, it's demons. You know, it's ghosts in your house, you know. I stand back and I look from an objective standpoint. So even though I am a spiritualist, I'm a priestess, I've been trained. But I also have the logic of the Aquarius to know you have to look deeper into things. So when I say Aquarius don't like dummies, people look at me like I'm so crazy. And I'm like, it's true. Aquarius don't like people who aren't smart. And it's not that we think that everybody in the world has to be a rocket scientist. And there are exceptions to this. Aquarius have a tendency to be humanitarians. So with people who are children or have learning disabilities, I taught special ed for like 11 years, maybe 10 years, something like that. I can't remember. Between 9 and 11 years, I was teaching special education. So it's not as if we don't know that people have learning disabilities or understand that kind of thing. None of that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who choose not to use their brain, people who choose not to, people who are lazy with it. Like, for example, people I was having a conversation with somebody one time, and this person got angry with me because I used a word that they did not understand, and they were mad at me and told me that I was condescending for using words that they didn't understand. And I'm looking at them like, you do realize Webster makes a dictionary, right? And at any given time, you can start looking up new words. And it was just like, I'm sitting there looking at this person like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, Google it, you know? So for Aquarius, we don't like it when a person doesn't use their logic, they don't use their brain, they have irrelevant theories. Don't come at me with an irrelevant theory. I love a good theory. I love a good conspiracy theory. I love a good theory, period. But don't come at me with a irrelevant theory, an unwell thought theory. I'm looking at them like, wait, what? The other day, somebody was telling me about the zodiac, and they were telling me, me, that I had the zodiac wrong, that Aquarius did not come after Capricorn, and I didn't even respond. I was just like, what? Are you talking about a different form of astrology? Because if you're talking about Western astrology, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, it's always been like that for what, thousands of years? Like, what are you talking about? So I didn't respond to the, because I was just looking like, wait, what? Whatever, okay. You know? So to me, that's one of those things that lacks logic. You can Google that in a 5-second Google search, you know? So Aquarius don't like that. We're very soft-hearted with people who, you know, don't have the ability, but we don't like people who have the ability and don't use it. That's what really makes us angry, because it's like, you have the ability to use logic. You're smart. Are you getting smart? Are you doing smart things? You're talking. You want to argue with people, but you can't take 15 seconds to see if what you're saying is correct. Please do not argue irrelevant or incorrect statements to an Aquarius. Not a good thing, especially if it's one of the things that I care about. Like, if I don't know something about something, I don't speak on it. I'm that kind of person. If you're talking about rocket science, I don't know nothing about rocket science, so I'm gonna just listen. I'm gonna just sit there, watch y'all like a tennis match, and listen to y'all talk about rocket science, because I don't have anything to interject. But if you're talking about tarot, if you're talking about something that I know intimately, and you telling me the wrong information, I'm gonna just be looking at you like, and it happens all the time. It happens all the time. So if you're talking to an Aquarius about something that they know intimately and they get a little irritated with you, that's usually what the problem is. The Aquarius feels like your knowledge is disturbing. Your lack of knowledge is disturbing, okay? Or if I say something basic to a person, and if you're an adult, you should know certain basic things, you know? And if you're talking to somebody and they don't, some Aquarius will get angry about this more so than others. Now, as I've gotten older, I must tell you, my level of irritation with this has gone down. You know, I've just accepted that people make mistakes. You know, I've accepted that everybody's not using their logic. I've just kind of accepted it as I've gotten older. But younger me, that was a major pet peeve. And I only brought this up to you guys because other signs have said to me, Aquarius think they know everything. They get on my nerves. Or somebody told me the other day, my Aquarius be talking down to me like he's so smart, you know? And they get mad about stuff like that. And I always tell Aquarius that is true. Talking down to people is not good. It's not. It's talking down to people, your partners, especially your friends. That's definitely not good. I try to educate them. if they want to be educated. Because think about it, some people don't want to hear what you have to say. So it really depends on the situation and the person. But I hear that a lot. People from other signs will tell me all the time, my Aquarius, they know everything. And I'm like, a lot of Aquarius are really smart. And a lot of Aquarius do know a lot about the topics that are important to us. So if your Aquarius is doing that, it's usually because they know a lot about it. And if somebody like, if a person, I have an Aquarius friend, and his partner used to always say he talked down to her, but his partner isn't that smart. I mean, she's just not, and it's not to be rude, she's just not that smart. So if the Aquarius says something and she doesn't understand it, for example, and then he tries to educate her or tries to explain, give an explanation or a definition, then she feels angry and belittled. And that's not even what he was trying to do. He was just trying to explain because she said she didn't understand what the hell he was talking about. So I'm like, you can't not understand and get mad at the person who's trying to give you the explanation. And as an Aquarius, you have to watch how you give the information. Because, like I said, if it sounds condescending to the other person, they're not going to listen to you anyway. So, usually, if I get into those situations, I ask the person, do they want me to explain? And if they want me to explain and I have the time to explain and the inclination to explain, then I do. Otherwise, they can choose to Google it, or do whatever they want to do with it. So please understand that yes, 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 other signs, you're right. Aquarius do not like people that don't use their intellect. Yes, you're 100% correct. But no, it's not coming from this arrogant know-it-all place. It's coming from a place of it irritates us, number one. And number two, we are trying to help the other person. And 9 times out of 10, we're not trying to hurt their feelings or, belittle them. I mean, some Aquarius do, I'm sure. I'm sure there are some narcissistic Aquarius or some mean-spirited Aquarius who do it that way. I've seen it happen before. But it's not always like that. Like, for instance, if your boyfriend really, really seriously loves you and he's, an Aquarius, and he says something to you, he's not trying to put you down. He's just trying to give you some information, you know? And if you don't like the way he gave it, you can express that. But just take a look at that and not expect it or not see it in a negative, because it's not always thrown to you in a negative. Okay? So that is a very true statement. I understand. Aquarius, in the comment section, please let me know if you're one of those Aquarius that takes issue with the lack of logic. Okay? Jeffrey sent us a message. Jeffrey said, Queen, you did not need to address me like that in the title. Apparently in this video, Jeffrey must have saw a reflection of himself, okay? I see a reflection of myself in a lot of these videos too, Jeffrey. It's not always pleasant, right? All right, let's see the second one. This one is Madonna Sod. Madonna, love that. Hey, how are you? I think your analysis is very fair and well reasoned. Great video. Thank you. Thank you very much. I do try to be fair. I have a Libra decan and a Libra node in my chart. And I do try to be balanced and I try to be fair. I try to see both sides of things because in most situations there is, there's a little gray area there, So I do try to take account for that. All right, guys, that was the last one. So you guys come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.